All right, guys. So here we are with Lumen to Bitcoin. This was the other crypto pair requested in the polling we did today. Here's a daily chart, and I'm on Bittrex here. Although when we get into this, I'm gonna switch over to Binance because that's just some more volume there. But we have more history here on Bittrex. Well, you can make a case that we're kind of at an interesting point here. So we're at you can see it's hard to miss it. So prior resistance was the support. Now it's being tested again for support. And I suppose you could make a case here that this actually was a double bottom, that we could pull up from the entire thing. Now we've broken once, broken twice. So can we get a count in here? Yeah, we can get a count in here. But if you just look at that, does that really look like something you want to trade? It's questionable. So I guess you could make a case here if it holds here. If this is so technical, right, that if this level holds, maybe you make a case here. Now you're buying the falling knife just as you would have had to have done here, right? It's just coming straight down. You have a little subdivision here, but this last acceleration down here and breaking the 6.5, so you have no algo behind you here. I continue to come back to the same conclusion as I've referenced in a number of videos lately. Of all the places where you could be trading and applying this technical tool set and this methodology, you do have other choices, right? So stubbornly staying in crypto, I think, is a questionable decision, right? Again, as I said yesterday, I appreciate the fact that there's a commitment to being part of the crypto revolution. I get it. But right now, if what's your objective, right? If your objective to make money, and you really you have to ask yourself that, because you think, well, the obvious answer is, well, of course. So why are you trading in crypto right now? It's just yeah, there's a few coins moving, there's a few things moving. But of all the places where you could allocate capital, it's just not happening here. So you're going to see a lot of new training content, because I think the easiest transition for any of you guys is to move from crypto into FX. You can easily move capital back and forth. It's very easy to open it. 5 minutes. 5 minutes, the account's open. You're trading in 6 minutes. Not to suggest that you need to dive into it, but don't let, oh shit, I got to open up another account and I got to move. Listen, it's so easy to open an account. It's not like you're opening an equity account and you've got to go through all sorts of regulation. This Forex, they want to make it easy for you. So it is. All right, not to get on a rant here, because you guys want to see some analysis on Lumen here. So technically, that's about the only thing you have to cling to here. That's it, right? We're at a significant pivot here. If that breaks, look out below, right? There's just no additional support. Now maybe you make the same kind of case here. Some of these other significant pivots, maybe. Right, you want to stay through all that drawdown. So really here, if you're looking to be a buyer, and I'm assuming that most people right here, you're a little bit late for the sell. If you're thinking about being a buyer here, I sure as hell would have a tight stop. Maybe you could do it this way. Maybe you grab a pivot here and say, okay, I'm going to buy it here on the idea, maybe that this is an area of support. Now I got to change that template here, so just give me a second. Shit, I can't remember what I call it. S&D. Oh, there you go. Okay, so maybe you make this case. So you drag this down a little bit and you say, all right, if it holds in this range here, if we hold here, the Elliott count doesn't really support it, but you could make that case that I'm in a prior area of demand. So yeah, you trade it. I sure as hell would be tight on the stop. So there's not a lot of risk. Now this is a daily chart, so it's more than you think. But so let's just look here. Right? So so reasonable would be up to these prior levels. There's your stop. 7 to 1. right? I mean, it's there, and now being ambitious beyond that, I think, is not yet. I think that's overly optimistic here, but just to get back, so something along these lines, just get back up here to these prior levels. Maybe you make that case. So if you're just determined to stay with crypto and buy when the opportunity is there, I suppose you can make a case here that you've got a decent level of support. The Elliott count, there is. Yeah, I'm going to take you through an Elliott count, but it really doesn't support the idea that this is the time to be a buyer. So you're buying it purely off of the structure. And then I'm not saying that that's not something to consider, but I would absolutely be disciplined about the stop, right? Don't just buy it and say, I love it, right? I'm going to stay with it long term. And don't take all this drawdown, because we could easily go here. Now it's 2 to 1. Oh, going to the point of control. Now it's 1.3 to 1 here. All right, so why, right? You got to be disciplined if you're thinking here. Now, again, I'm assuming people are asking, but is this a potential area to be a buyer? Well, yeah, that's all you've got to cling to, because the Elliott count doesn't support it. No, so right, take that for what it's worth. So, but let's do this, because there's education here. This is a challenging count. Now, I've switched over to Binance, and I'll show you why. It's just as I always come over here, I look at Coin Checkup, or there's several of these sites here that I've shown you guys before. But if we come over here and look at Stella, look at the exchanges. Well, here it is on Binance. Binance again. Before we get down to Bittrex, way down here, 315,000 as compared to 3.3 million. So thus, right, I want to go where the volume is. Oh shit! Now I got to find it. Oh, where did I put it? Here we go. Okay, so. All right, so fairly solid case here for an ABC to be in, right? So again, less history here. So the big pump, ABC corrects it. There's your W. Got a clear 5 up here. There's an A. I got a B here. Now this is a little dicey. It's very tight here because of the depth of the 2, but it technically holds. So you can get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? We can get a diagonal into the C to give us the X. Right, and again, you just right up here, it's kind of the same idea. You've just got all of this potential, all of this prior resistance here. We had some wicks get through it, but essentially you're just in a big fat range. All right, so if we wick that off again, so here's your range. So yeah, you can make a case here. Okay, well, I'm going to trade the range, right? So if we're range bound, well, let's trade the range. So if it holds here, great, right? You bought the absolute bottom of the range. The odds of that holding there, what have I got underneath? I've got sell volume here. The odds of that holding, well, again, right? It may, but I would be very disciplined about where I'm putting a stop. So the count would imply that we're going down for a W, so we need to dig out of this an ABC. Now so where's your B, right? The only option you really have here is that you can get the A wave. There's your B, now your C. Well, what do you have to work with there? Do you have any swing relationship? You threw the 618, hundreds down here. Already it's a bit of a stretch to call this a B. So maybe you got to put it here to get something deeper than ABC going to. It's just again, why are we in here? Why? It just, if I just randomly started picking different assets and we just scrolled through the charts, if we land here, are you like, whoa, stop right there, because that looks interesting. Again, what do you have? You have just the low end of the range, right? And preferably, you're buying because it's prior resistance, not support that's been tested. So look here, 1, 2, 3 times it's been tested. Now, clearly that's been prior areas of demand. So if it holds, okay, well, how far are you going to go before you're going to run into some resistance? Not far. All right, so I got to change this. So let's get back over to traditional. All right, so, well, first thing you're going to bump into is all of this prior support. That will be your resistance here. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4 times that's been banged. So If you're gonna rally out of this, that's the first thing you got to deal with. And then you got to deal with the 38 right here at the point of control. Then I got to get through the 50. Then the 618. We really are we going up here? So this would have to be done here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That looks, if anything, it looks like more like maybe you've just got the A wave going in. B still to come. It's, you know, extension in the 5th likely here. Now, it might have looked better had we not had this last break and had we been able to get an algo behind us. Since we've broken all the support, again, you've got nothing to go off of other than that structure. So, you know, I can't. You know, you want to put risk a few $100. That's about as much as I would put on that. Stop right just where I showed you. Right, so you just can't give it too much room there because you're trying to buy the pivot. You're trying to buy the turn, right? So why, if you think it's going to hold there for whatever reason, let's get even just a little motive wave. It could be a diagonal. That's fine, but let's get 5. Let's get something to suggest. Oh, maybe. Then you take the little ABC that follows, right? Remember here, I'm on a 12-hour. So then you take that. Right now, why? It's just the risk is so high because if this breaks, there's no support underneath. There's nothing there. Right? Look here over on the market profile. There's just no buying there. You have no support. So I think digging through the count here, this was tricky, right? It took, you know, not an easy count because it took a while. So and you're right on the edge here. I say you have to check multiple exchanges. Did it break on any other exchanges to invalidate it? It looks like I've checked several. It looks like we hold here. So you can get your ABC into the 2. 3, it's there so you can get the diagonal, right? So 3 is higher than 1. 5 is higher than 3. There's a case for it into an X wave here, but we've got to get an ABC here. That does not look like a completed ABC. So maybe you get the push into the B, right? So there's some money to be made there if that's what you're thinking, right? Assuming you want to be on the long side. There's really not, there's almost nothing else there. If I just trying to look for extremes. We have any confluence here? Nothing right where you're sitting. So you're just working off structure. Now a little bit lower here, you get the 618. You got the algo target here, but you don't have anything to be working that algo off of. There is no retrace. There's this 38, right? Maybe, but we've already blown through third target, so all of that's still implying new lows. So there's just nothing to work with here. 1, 2. It looks like you can get your 1, 2, 3, 4. And finishing in the 5 here, but it doesn't look like it's finished. So what I think is probably the better trade here, and again, I'm assuming you guys are looking for the buy opportunity here, but I think the better trade here is this. Trade the B into the C. So first you got to wait, we got to wait to get the B. Right? Do we get the right subdivision to give us a B wave here? And then can we push it down? And then you'd have, well, we could do it with a channel. It'd be just fine. Then you'd have something to work with, right? Something along those lines. So maybe you're down here trying to get your C to finish down here. You know, where are we? All right, so that's not unreasonable, right? Assuming you're comfortable shorting crypto. That's tradable. So it looks like at least they're trying to hold it, right? So there's some natural buying pressure coming in there, just again because it's prior support, right? You'll see some activity there. If they break, you know there's going to be stops underneath it. So thus the push to break it will be extreme. If it holds, it's a good sign, right? It's a good sign that the bulls are defending there. But I think all it does is set up the B into the C, where you could ultimately then finish the WXY. All right, guys, you know, I hate to be the guy saying don't trade, don't wait for it. It's not there. Rethink allocating capital to crypto. But I would not be giving you good counsel if we were just slugging away in here trying to find the bottom in crypto. It's just not there yet. All right, guys. So that's about, so this, right, again, as I will remind you, pull up a blank chart. See if you can figure it out. It was not an easy count to get a handle on because the diagonal was a little iffy, but it works. So the education is worthwhile there. But as far as a trade, yeah, it's nothing I would trade. All right, guys, talk to you later.